Welcome to the podcast. The Aging Queen. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of The Aging Queen. I'm here with our regular suspects, Robbie from Madrid, Spain. Hey, Robbie.
Hi.
And James from Ohio.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Great.
Great. How are you?
Good. Today's episode is on politics. We've all kind of come back from vacation, and the earlier episodes that we discussed politics on were very much Trump versus Biden, which is kind of irrelevant now. Since we have, I was just going to say President Kamala. So I hope she wins, personally. Anyway, so what's in the news? What's going on? What's going on with you guys first? How are you? How you been? We took a couple of weeks off.
Yeah. What have you been up to, James?
Oh my. Well, let's see. I've been at home since my last trips, but I just today um booked another trip that I'm super excited about.
Where are you going?
So Germany. I'm going to
Ooh.
Germany. So
Is this a dirty
my
trip?
no, this is actually it's going to be kind of an experiment, I think, because so I work fully remote and I've never really embraced the digital nomad sort of lifestyle. Um, and I have some friends who are actually moving to Germany. And in moving to Germany, they originally booked an Airbnb for like a month, thinking that they would rent an Airbnb for the month, and then during that month they would find their apartment in Germany. Um, but then they looked online while they were here and actually found a great deal on an apartment that they seemed to like. So they went ahead and got that apartment. But it was too late to cancel their Airbnb. So they have two places to live for the month, I guess for the month that they move. And so they were like, well, uh, if you want to come and hang out for a couple of weeks, you'll have your own place
That's great.
and you can have it for free. They're like, we already paid for it, so you can just stay there. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna
So why
go
is this
and
a test?
because I've never actually, like, even though my job is fully remote, I've never really acted on it. Like I've always just I still have that sort of old school mindset where this is, my office is my house, so I work from my office. Whereas it's kind of like, but I don't have to. I can literally work from anywhere in the world as long as I'm on my computer when I need to be on my computer.
Right.
Um, which is, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So, working from Europe will be an interesting challenge because, of course, those hours will be from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. Uh, because what that will be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, so that's why I said it's an experiment, because if it's something that I actually enjoy doing, then maybe I will start taking regular trips to places where I can work and be like a digital nomad or something like that. So we'll see.
That's
We'll see what
great.
happens.
Well, yeah, I think you should take advantage of it because I don't believe this is going to happen forever. This is not going to go on forever.
Yeah, it's not going to last.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think a lot
companies
of
are
the
True.
recalling
work from home jobs.
employees. Yeah.
Well, I will say that for my specific job, it's not something that I think will end soon, just because for what I do, most of
Right.
my team lives all over the place,
Yeah.
and I doubt that my company would force us all to move to Florida.
Oh, well,
No,
lucky
maybe,
you.
At
maybe,
least I
yeah,
hope not.
yeah.
Yeah, at least I hope not.
I
So,
don't know. I feel like everyone's going to end up in Tampa. It's the only cheapest place in America.
I mean,
No, Tampa's not cheap. They've got
Oh,
$500,000 shacks. So Florida's full. Don't try.
yeah, I
it's okay.
trust
I
me.
didn't want to try anyway. I'm
I
good.
was gonna say
I
I
love
don't
everyone
want
from
to.
Florida.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go.
I'm going
Uh,
in November.
to Florida?
Yeah, Tampa.
I'm I'm not sure, but I may
I knew it. I knew you
be
would.
there. It's possible.
Ooh.
I don't know. Like I don't know. Basically, my team. That's where our my job is headquartered in Tampa.
Of course it
So
is. Everything's in
um
Tampa. Tampa is like
so
London now.
Yeah, Tampa's
yes.
hiring. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
Tampa's
yeah,
booming.
so when I have to go to the office, that is where I would have to go. So if I don't know about November yet, but basically like some of my team members have to travel there every month. I'm fortunate and I don't have to. So
Well, at least it's a nice little reprieve from the north, the cold weather when you have to go in February. At least
that
you can
is
take advantage of that. Good
true.
weather.
So far I've only been in August where it was just that humidity just it hits you.
I think Florida is fine every time of the year. I mean, to visit, uh, except for the summer.
Oh yeah, the summer's too hot and humid.
It's
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah, it was rough.
mosquitoes. You're living in on their land. This is mosquito land. Okay.
And alligator land.
Yeah, it's like we're just visitors.
Yeah, see, I
They own
luckily
that shit. I mean, you can't go in there and pretend that that's not the case because they dominate it.
Which is worse, Norwegian winter or Florida summer?
I'd
oh
say
Jay's
Florida
son or
summer.
daughter?
see, I like the
Yeah.
idea of a Norwegian winter because you know
Yeah.
you can layer up. I'm okay
Mhm.
with layering up,
Yeah. But
but
the
in
heat, you just can't escape it.
oh
Firewood.
no, I seriously just had to walk. Like my hotel was a 2 minute drive from our office, and I remember we have to wear business casual, so like button down
Ew.
shirt and things like that. So I walk outside from the hotel the first day, and
A
within
hotel.
10 seconds, I am
Drenched in sweat.
dripping with
Mhm.
sweat.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just like, what is this madness? Oh, it was
And,
rough.
and it's not even like you're losing weight because really sweat is just liquid coming out. It's not fat being burnt.
No, it's yeah.
You're just getting all gross for no reason.
Exactly. So literally I sat in the office for like 2 hours drying off.
Mm, poor little guy.
Yeah. So
So let's talk about politics. What's going on? I'm
wait,
a little out of the loop.
was gonna
Yeah,
say
James, give us the home report from Ohio.
well, I was gonna say we didn't talk about what Robbie was doing, but I mean we can jump into that if you like.
Oh,
Eh,
my life's
Robbie,
boring.
no,
No,
go ahead.
I already said I'm going to Florida in November. That's my next trip. Well, I'm going to Barcelona for a week in October, but no, that's it. My life's boring. That's all.
Oh, he's been traveling the entire
He
summer.
he
Don't
he
I don't
has
want to
been.
he
brag.
You
lies.
have been. You've been living
I
that
have.
dream life.
He
Yeah.
went to
Well,
Latvia. He's went everywhere.
yeah, I went
Norway,
to
Sweden.
Latvia, Norway, Sweden, and then I went to Andorra. Had a
I
great
mean,
time.
Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna you probably got a big footprint for the carbon footprint going on right now. You're gonna have to repent as a vegan.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to do 12 Hail Marys.
oh,
Yeah.
that sounds horrible. Hopefully, hopefully next year maybe I can come to Spain and I can meet you.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We'll
Yeah.
All right,
see.
so let's talk about what's in the news.
All
Yeah.
right.
Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump.
Yes. So what Robbie was referring to earlier was, I'm guessing, uh, Louis, you didn't see the debate that happened like a week or two ago. Uh,
No, I saw snippets of it on the news.
well, basically, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, they were debating, and for some odd reason, Trump kept harping on the fact that here in Springfield, Ohio, he kept saying that the Somali immigrants were eating the dogs and eating the
Haitian.
cats.
Are you
Sorry,
serious?
Haitian. Yes, sorry, Haitian. Thank you. Haitian immigrants were eating the dogs and eating the cats, basically the pets that lived in Springfield. Um,
Goodness.
all of this came from an image that was actually taken here in Columbus
Mhm.
of a man who I guess had cleared two dead geese from the road because we have a lot of Canadian geese here in Columbus.
Mhm.
And I believe, I mean, I saw that he was a person of color. I am not going to try to even guess at his, where he might have been from, but he was being essentially a good citizen and clearing two dead Canadian geese from the road. And from that picture, the Republicans, especially JD Vance, has just
Oh,
started
lord, that guy.
saying, how immigrants are eating these pets and wild animals, and it's just kind of like,
Okay, wait, how did we go from 2
no.
dead geese on the road to eating your dog and your cat?
Republicans lie.
Yes.
No, but there had to be some kind of, I don't know, impetus
There
for it?
was
No, it
there
was his
so
imagination.
apparently there was some sort of incident. It did not involve an immigrant,
Mhm.
uh, that involves someone's cat, but it wasn't in Springfield. And even like the mayor of Springfield, the governor of Ohio, they're every day just saying this didn't happen. Stop it. Because what's going on now is that all of these like crazed Trump supporters are doing things like calling in bomb threats to
Oh,
Springfield,
man.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, because so it's totally disrupting Springfield's life. And like every morning, like here in the news, like I watch the news here in Columbus, and every morning since then, I've seen people saying, please stop.
Yeah,
Like
please stop.
stop this. You're disrupting our lives. Like, our city had problems before, but this is just, blowing things like this is going way above and beyond of the issues that we need to be focusing on. Like the city themselves is saying, yeah, we know we have issues with immigration because we've got a lot of immigrants, and we want to put money into programs to help those
Yeah, I
immigrants.
mean, they
But
need time to assimilate, settle down,
right,
get
but
their
what
jobs.
this is
Yeah.
doing is this is causing them to put a ton of more money in like law enforcement because of all the crazy,
Right.
you know,
It's
threats that are being made now
well, it's
from
gonna also
outside.
create it's gonna create a witch hunt,
Right, and it's threats coming from outside
right, the
of
community.
Springfield. Yeah, like the community's not doing this. The community, these are all threats coming from the outside of the community. So,
Well, that's
so yeah,
unfortunate news to
yeah,
hear.
yes. So that's what Robbie was talking about when he asked me about what's going on in Ohio.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, Ohio. Yeah, it's not even you guys really, so,
No,
um,
no.
well. Alright, so what do you guys think of the election so far? I mean, post, Harris coming in on, the ticket. Do you think she's gonna win? Do you think she's a stronger candidate than Biden was? Please don't all rush to
Oh, I
answer.
mean,
I was gonna say, Robbie, I'm gonna let you take
yeah.
this one first.
Oh, I don't know where to begin with that one. I think she's a I think she is a much better candidate than Biden. I don't want to put my capital L liberal or capital D Democrat hat on, but yeah, objectively, she is on paper a better candidate than Biden. There's still some issues, but that's just the way America is, and there's no pride in the G side going on. But it is what it is, and these are our choices. It's either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, and um, as much as I admire the Green Party, I'm just side eyeing them as well right now, and I'm just not really happy with any of our candidates. And I
I mean,
think Kamala is.
we discussed this before, 350,000,000 people, and we keep, rummaging through the same 15 over and over again.
Hmm.
Same 15 names over and over again, and it's like, wow, okay, this is worse than, high school politics.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
alright, the popular kids and that's it. Um, you would think that the pool being larger, we would have more options. If you compare it to industries, the entertainment industry, there's more famous people that win the Oscar or equivalent to that than politicians that are in our kind of purview, like, in our in front of us, for us to pay attention to. So it's just crazy. I think we're being limited on options on purpose. I think that's a lot of it has to do with the
The
system.
DNC. Yeah.
Yeah, the system, and it's also they just want you to, um, you know, stick to a two-party system. That's really what it is. It's so the people in charge, the money people, can continue with their agenda. What's going on, to switch on this, and I think this is very important for the election. Um, I'm not liking what I am seeing, what I'm hearing about private equity taking over um, single family homes. Did you hear about this? They're buying up tons of single family homes and then putting them on for rent at like triple the price of what they bought it, and raising the rates for renting in those communities. It's just leaving communities, people, um, devastated.
Yeah.
They can't even they're being kicked out. There's companies that are buying entire motorhome properties. I don't know if you guys know, but motorhome properties are usually rented.
Mhm.
The land is owned by some company, and they rent the motorhome.
Yeah.
And they've been selling these big lots of motorhome parks to private equity firms in Manhattan. It's like, why do you care what's going on in Alabama? It's all about money,
Yeah.
but it's really ruining people's lives.
Yeah. It's so unfortunate, and I get really excited for candidates that want to change that system, but I also want candidates with a bit more skin in the game that don't appear once every 4 years. And yeah,
True.
I I'm looking at my ballot right now because I live overseas, and I get my ballot emailed to me, and then I print it out and then fill it out and then mail it back to the US. And I'm looking at it and I see a bunch of names for president. I see at the top Donald Trump, I see Kamala Harris, and I see Claudia de la Cruz. She's great and interesting. I see Jill Stein. I raise my eyebrows at that. But then I see other candidates. Randall Terry, never heard of him. Peter Sonsky, never heard of him. Chase Oliver, never heard of him. He's probably a libertarian though, so ew. But um, I do like how, at least on my Florida ballot, there's more names, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with Kamala, even
Yeah.
though
I
I'm
wish
not
they
happy
just
with
talked
the
about
foreign policy. But
real issues. I understand, have what did they talk about on the I have to go back and watch it, but from the articles that I'm reading, they're not talking about the real issues we have. We have a huge housing crisis in the US.
yeah,
Um, you know, the Washington Times had an article out that basically stated 45% of flipped single family home purchases were by private investors in 2023. Now, they go on to state this was an article published on March 15th, 2024. And they say that recent data reveals that in the third quarter of 2023, these financial entities accounted for 44% of purchases of flipped single family houses. Medium reports citing a Business Insider study. The surge in activity marks a significant departure from the traditional real estate dynamics and ushers in a new era of institutional investment. Okay, so typically, historically, they would only invest in multifamily property, such as apartments, and leaving single family homes largely to individual buyers. And this was a part of what's called the American dream. Okay, you leave your rental apartment in a bad neighborhood or a good neighborhood, it doesn't matter, but you leave a rental apartment and you want to go to the suburbs and buy a single family home. That was the American dream for over 60 years. That's no
well,
longer
for
uh,
people that were allowed to.
Very
exactly.
true. Yes,
Very
that is
true.
very true.
That was the luxury, and for people that were allowed to and that could, but that's why they called it a dream, right? Because it was something
Yeah,
that you aspired to, you know? And some people
and
it was now it's not even possible.
there's a lot of people where it's not possible. It's it's just not, which is very unfortunate, but it is getting harder for sure.
I think there needs to be, and listen, I am a big believer in in controlled capitalism. I think when you have capitalism run amok completely, and those people that say, oh, the market will fix it. Well, no, if you leave the market, we'll all be out on the streets. There's certain things you got to regulate, and they know that, and the market is regulated more than you think. But there's certain things that they shouldn't be getting into, and I think home speculation is one of them, and it's going on in Europe. It's going on all over the world, but mainly it's been happening in major cities. And what I'm saying is that typically they've been pumping in money to buy these bloated apartments that they don't even live in. Okay, so that's pure speculation. But you say, hey, it's fine. It's New York. Okay, but now when you're starting to get into buying entire communities in Minnesota and Ohio in Alabama, where people can't even aspire to climb that social ladder and attain that American dream that was so sold to us early on in our lives. It's just, where do we go? What do we do? Those are the real issues we need to discuss, I think.
I hear you. I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
It's a major part of life.
Yeah. I
Whereas
mean,
it was not discussed on the in the debate.
Sure, it wasn't.
No, I don't believe it was. But then again, I also missed the first 30 minutes. But as far as I
Well, it's
know, it
because
was not
both
discussed.
parties are letting it happen. They have no interest in getting involved in that subject.
yeah, because they all got donors and they
Right.
need to make their donors happy. Just some got more extreme donors than others.
Right.
That is true.
Yeah. So, and when you're donors and you're donating to both sides, you're always going to win.
Hmm.
So that's what's going on. That's why it's easier to have a two-party system, because you can control the game. Um, you know. Anyway, I don't want to be a skeptic and negative. I just think people need to be aware of the real issues, and people are getting priced out of things in the U.S., and it's just a huge um, money grab going on right now. So anyway,
I
I
think my
digress.
I think my two main things that I think that were not discussed in the debate is one that affects me and affects my family in the US. And I think about it all the time. Like when my niece graduated high school, I'm like, okay, whew, at least she's not going to be in another school shooting, because there was already a school shooting at her school. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, oof, there's not going to be a school shooting at her school. And now she's got a job as a working in a grocery store. And I'm like, oh, wait, there could very well be a shooting there. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
it
that's a
just
big
doesn't
Oh
issue.
yeah.
end.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, gun control, reform. We're all for guns here, responsibly owning them, background checks, weight limit, waiting times. We're no mass, no
AK-47s are
AK
not guns.
47s, none
No
of
one
that.
needs to have these weapons in their
Absolutely
homes.
not. I agree. That needs to be
I also
stopped.
agree. Yeah.
Um, so that's issue that James, do you think they talked about that on the
They
debate?
did
I don't think
they
so.
they did briefly, because at
Mm,
one point Trump did said he did say that that Kamala was coming for they're coming for your guns or whatever, and
mm.
that's when she shot back. She was just kind of like,
I
"Listen,
got a
go."
gun.
Exactly. She was like, "I have a gun. Tim Waltz has a gun. We're not coming for your guns."
Yeah, and
You know?
later on Oprah, she said, "If anyone's coming into my house, I'm gonna make sure that that we shoot them or something."
Oh, really?
Iconic.
She did say,
I don't
she said, if
I don't
someone
like
comes
her.
into my house, I'll shoot them. If
Yeah.
they break into my house.
That's crazy.
I think it surprised Oprah. um,
Mm.
what do you guys think of
Everyone.
that stance? Do you think it alienated anyone on the? Democratic, well,
No,
Honestly,
Party?
no. No. I
no.
mean, so living here in Ohio, I will say I have a lot of friends who are gun owners and who feel similarly. Um, they they love their guns, but they're not fanatical about it. It's just honestly like a part of life. Like, it's almost like shoes to them. Like not gonna leave the house without wearing a pair of shoes for some of them, and it's kind of interesting, like because that's one of
It's
the
kinda
things. Like,
scary though, that you're walking around, town with everyone smacking heat.
some of my not, and it's not everyone, but some of my friends, um, some of it. Some of them think of it as needing it for potential defense. Others, um, just kind of like the idea of having them. Like so one of my girlfriends, she's being that she's a single female, she's kind of like, listen, she's a single black woman. She has been in situations that she thought where she felt where she was threatened, and she most certainly did not like the idea of not being armed. So she
Mhm.
managed to go and
I
I think
I don't
got trained,
I
and yeah.
I don't think having a gun with you while you're in on the streets in the city is going to help you. Most people make the wrong decisions. The law is actually not on your side. You have to, in order to like use deadly force, there has to be so many. The proof of burden is on you.
De-escalations, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have to literally be filling you full of, holes by
Lead.
being on
Mhm.
top of you and stabbing you for you to use that. Just because someone turns a corner and scares you or lunges at you doesn't mean that you have the right to use deadly force. So most of these people are very wrong because it's not going to help them. If anything, it's going to put them in prison.
Well,
Um,
now see, now I wouldn't necessarily say that they're wrong, and the only reason why I say this is because I'm n- I'm not them. I don't know what their experience has been. I don't know
Right,
what
but
frightens
what I'm saying
them.
is to use deadly force, it's almost unjustifiable in the eyes of law. In every state, I mean, probably the only one is Florida, where
I mean,
it's like
I
kind of like Wild Wild West right now.
I will say none of my friends have used deadly force. However, I would say most of the women who I am closest to here in Ohio, a lot of them carry weapons for their own safety because they go places alone. They'll go places at night
What happened with
sometimes.
mace? Did they run out of
Yeah.
mace in Ohio? Why can't why not
This
mace?
is this is Ohio. I don't know. Like, I can't say. I mean, for one, I'm not a woman. Two, I'm not a gun owner, so I've
Listen,
never.
I think people need to carry less guns everywhere. So
I mean, personally, I have never had a great desire to be a gun owner.
right,
I've had several friends who have asked me, why don't I have a gun or why don't I get one? And then my response is, why do I need one?
right.
Does the
You
police
know,
have one?
right.
But
But,
but
like, it's
listen,
kind of
if you
like,
wanna keep one in the house, I'm okay. I'm talking about people
Yeah.
taking it out on the street, going to bars and restaurants with it makes no
oh, but
Well,
sense. You're better
here,
Florida
off
here,
is
using
not
a
open carry. You're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be
Mr.
at
here's
James
home.
says they are. He's the
here
people
in
are
Ohio, here in
It's open
Ohio,
carry?
it is legal to have your gun in a bar. I
yeah.
remember
Whoa.
A
when they
lot of
passed that
states.
law. I thought that is the worst thing ever. But yeah, they passed the law saying here in Ohio,
Oh, in
if you
Texas is the same way.
bringing your gun to a bar is perfectly fine, which
A
I thought was
lot of
crazy.
places. Listen, when you go to Texas, it's up to the proprietor to put up a sign that says, "No guns beyond this point." And that freaked me out. My sister used to live there for years, and when I'd visit her, I would never. I grew up outside of DC. We never saw these things. Um, so seeing that, I was like, "Oh my god, people are actually freaking carrying guns all around them, walking around town." And yeah,
I
that's
mean, for
very
the
much the
most part,
case.
you don't you don't normally see them. The only time I've ever actually seen it, and this was the weirdest thing to me, I remember it was a Mother's Day one year, and I went and was having breakfast with a friend of mine. And while we were in this restaurant, there was a guy who was wearing a gun on his belt.
Hmm.
And I mean, I didn't see a badge or anything. He just had a gun on his belt, and I thought, well, that's just the strangest thing. Like, like most
Right.
people, I don't, like I don't normally see people just wearing a gun on their belt. It's not like the Wild Wild West here in Ohio. Like if most people have one, they keep it concealed somewhere. But this was just very much out in the open. It was right there. No
Well,
one
I
seemed to
prefer the
care.
out in the
You know,
open than the concealed because a lot of these states you're allowed to conceal it, you know?
right? Whereas like I said, my girlfriends, it's in their purse, it's in their car, it's somewhere. You never know.
I'd say
But
carry
yeah,
mace, leave the gun at home,
you, you
sorry.
know. But honestly, I don't know. Like for me, like I said, it's never been a thing. I feel like for me personally, I don't like the idea of having a gun. Being a black male, just I feel like that increases my chances of dying violently. Um, but this is just a personal thinking. I just don't want to put myself in that situation. So I've never had one and don't really want one. So
So, yeah, I think there's so many ways you can protect yourself if you actually, want to protect yourself and feel fearful. You know, and mace is great. You got tasers. There's a lot of non-lethal weapons. But again, we should talk about building a better society because
Yeah.
why are so many Americans also going abroad and leaving, not just because they're being priced out, but because I think we've gotten to a point, and I love America, don't get me wrong. It's a wonderful country, wonderful people, and I'm one of them. But I think we've gotten a little crazy. I think things
A little.
the
yeah, I was
temperature
gonna say
has
a
been
little.
raised, things have gotten out of control, and it's a runaway truck on the highway right now.
So my
And a lot of it has to
feelings.
do with greed, and guns is the part of greed
Uh,
because the gun companies wanna sell.
And people's inflated egos.
True. I
Yeah,
feel so. Like, one
and
of the things
fears.
I was actually talking with some friends about this the other day. Um, because someone had said we were, obviously we were talking about like Trump and the crazy rhetoric that's going around and his followers and them being like racist and all this other stuff and I think someone made the joke saying people didn't used to be like that and I was like, well, it's not that people here weren't like that. It's that you know, um, with media, like now that everybody can just get online with just social media, you see it a lot more. Whereas in the past, it was just in somebody's house.
Right. Or you
So
heard of a story of someone.
right, like you would hear, you go to somebody's house and you're like, oh, they don't go in that house because that person's a racist. They call this person a blah blah blah. That's just word of mouth. Now you do the same thing on social media, and it's just like, oh man, millions of people know that this one person is a racist.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of like that's that's interesting that it's like that now. But I mean, as far as politics goes, we just I feel we're never going to have the ideal candidate. Like we're never going to have the perfect candidate. And like Robbie's got all those names on his on his ballot that he can choose from, but in the end not one of them is the perfect person. You know, it just I wish there was a perfect person, but what it's going to come down to is like if you voted for anyone other than a Democrat or a Republican, it's almost like it's a wasted vote. You know,
Right.
Yeah. It's
which is sad.
I get excited about the Green Party. Did you see
Who's
Jill
the Green
Stein
Party?
on the
Tell us a
Breakfast
little bit
Club?
about this. What's the Green Party? Who's in it? What do they believe
Jill
in?
Stein, who is also another older person, but Butch Ware, the vice president candidate it seems great in his interviews, but Green Party, I think that they're more about they're very left wing, but I don't think it's like socialism or communism or anything like that. Like the People's Party and the Working Families Party. I think Green Party is ecological, green jobs, but I forget what their exact platform is. But when I see them doing interviews, I think Jill Stein um, was a little caught on a Hassan interview, but when she was on the Breakfast Club, I was hooting and hollering. I was all behind her. I was like, "Yeah, get him!" But I don't know. I think Kamala's got the Gen Z vote, so that might
Let's hope they
help a
go
lot
and vote.
with the. Yeah, I hope so.
I
We'll
just
have
think these other
eligible men.
parties, it's sadly, if you vote for them, you're taking votes away from one of the other two because it's not well balanced,
I
So
mean, as far as the Gen Z vote goes, did you see that uh, um, Taylor Swift has supported Kamala Harris, and Donald Trump tweeted that he hates her, which I thought, wow, just he just threw that out there. He just said, "I
Yeah.
hate Taylor Swift," and I thought, that's
Oh, don't go after the
I
Swifties.
know. Like as soon as he did that, I'm like, man, you just
He really does not want to be president then.
right, exactly. That's
it's
because
like
I'm like,
90% of the
yeah,
generation are Swifties.
right. So in my mind, like part of me feels like some if I was on Trump's team, I'd be like, listen, no Twitter privileges for you for a while. Like you gotta stop.
Oh, I mean,
You know,
no one's gonna no. That's been going on for like 10 years now. He just
I
at 3
know,
in the
but
morning does what he wants.
the Swifties are hardcore. You know,
So what's going on with his case? Isn't he a felon? Is it when do they? What's going on? What's the next steps with that? I don't
I have
understand.
no idea. I
yeah, I was
think
gonna
it's
say,
all been
So
pushed
weird.
under
yeah, I
the
feel like
rug
he's,
ever since his second pew pew attempt. Oh my
yeah,
I
goodness.
can't
oh
believe
yeah,
this. It's like you
Service
can't
is
even write
messing
a
up.
movie like this. It would people would think it's so far
but
out.
but honestly, it's one of those situations where part of me is kind of like, was it planned?
Right. What
You
No,
know,
that
people died though,
that was
Robbie. That's very
fishy.
scary.
Yeah, I know,
right,
but
right. But do you think Donald Trump cares?
yeah.
No, not really.
I mean, let's be honest. It's like, but because what happens when you and I'm, like I'm not trying to be like a conspiracy theorist, but really, if you think about it, what happens when you almost if for somebody in his case, he's not doing so well, and then someone tries to kill him, all of a sudden, woo, all the attention goes to him. He gets really popular again.
Yeah, and then we
You know,
forgot 2 weeks later because of another
exactly.
scandal.
And so another scandal happens, and oh no, now we have another person
I don't think
trying to
he
take a
had any
shot.
no, I don't think he had anything to do with that. I think there's some other people that had something to do with it,
The Clinton.
but
Speaking of, P Diddy's going to jail. How
I
long do you
do
think he's
think
going to
there's
Yeah, I
last?
saw that too.
How long do you think he's going to last before he, quote unquote, is left alone and then
Commit
dies
suicide.
oh yeah,
unexpectedly?
I mean he's gonna hang himself, right?
Nope.
I saw in the news that he is under suicide watch. I
Yeah.
saw it.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
He's going to get
There's this underbelly of the
Empire.
I was gonna say, are we gonna
something's
talk
going
about the
on.
Illuminati? Is that what we're gonna say?
I don't know.
Yes.
You know what?
Jay
It
Z
doesn't
is
matter
next.
what you call
Speaking
it.
of,
I will tell you one thing. When you have a lot of money and you feel like you're untouchable, you're going to do a lot of shit that you shouldn't be doing.
yeah.
And that's what's going on in the world is people think they're untouchable. And
So,
there's a break in morals and I think the it's just crazy.
I
are
think
you?
it's epic millennial
The
era.
Antichrist is going to come back. So.
I think at least I'm gonna say for myself as an elder millennial. I don't know if you guys identify as Gen X,
Honey, you're
but
a boomer.
Oh, I'm
let's all
hardcore
be
Gen X.
okay. I think
We're
Very much.
Xennials.
just growing up watching television and your favorite stars just disappoint you as you get older is just so abysmal. Like Roseanne turned out to
Oh, I
be
know.
a freak.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
um,
I
uh,
never liked her.
there's just so many more examples that I'm blanking at right now. Roseanne, it was like like my favorite show growing up, and then for her to turn into what she's turned into now, I'm just like so disappointed. And
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Well, I never watched Harry Potter, but yeah, that's a great example.
Mm.
Yeah, she's a letdown.
She's off the deep end.
Well, not only
Um,
that, why are you gonna go attack people? Let people be
right,
the way they wanna be. Let people live, you know?
right.
It's like,
And we believe in trans
who do
rights
we
on this pod,
fucking
right?
care, you
Everyone say
know?
trans rights.
Almost certainly trans
Trans
rights for
rights.
sure.
Trans rights,
For
yes.
sure. I was gonna say I have way too many trans friends to not be an ally.
Live
Like,
life the way
So
you wanna live it. We're
are you
here for,
gonna
like,
remove your,
5
Harry Potter
minutes,
tattoo?
you know?
luckily I have no tattoos.
Oh, okay. Well, I have tattoos, but no Harry Potter tattoos.
Yeah, I have
What's another celebrity that you're disappointed in?
Robbie from the Aging Queen.
Oh yeah, I'm canceled. Ugh, again.
oh, that would be funny.
Oh,
Not
it's fine.
again.
I
I'm done with I
know.
mean, I'm kinda over celebrities. I think social media has unveiled the, the kind of the mystery of, celebrities, and they're just normal people with a shit ton of money. That's it. That's all it is.
Nickelodeon shows. Ugh.
Yeah,
All the bad stuff happening behind the scenes on all those
I
Nickelodeon shows.
still
It
need to
is
yeah.
watch
so
that
silly.
documentary.
I
I
haven't watched it yet,
I
yeah.
still need to watch that.
Louis,
Um,
you need to watch it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
need to
I
watch it.
started trying to watch, I think it's a Ryan Murphy show, the, Melendez brothers.
Menendez. Yes.
Menendez.
Menendez.
It looked really stupid, I'm sorry, and I love Ryan Murphy, but first thing, I know the story from when it came out in the '90s,
you
and
lived
the
it.
it's really funny that now I'm getting to an age where everything on TV is shit that I've already lived through, like the DC sniper, the this, the that, the Unabomber. I'm like, "Can we fucking come up with new shit?" I know that everything is being catered to 22-year-olds, but, I already know the story, and, I turned it on for 10 minutes, and I was like, "Oh god." It's like, I really don't wanna this is stupid. This is just dramatizing and, hero worshiping these guys, and then on top of that, making them I don't know. It's like, I don't wanna see I don't wanna know about them. I don't know I don't wanna know more than I already know about this. I want new stories. That's it, you know? Um, anyway, so what I'm saying is,
Gonna ask the
I
exact
think
same
we need
question.
new stories. I think we need to stop fucking making all the same shit that we've already heard. If things have been in this in the, I don't care if it's for 22-year-olds that don't know what the past is, but we already know about the Menendez stories. We already know about this and that. We don't even make it into a movie. You know why Tiger King was really cool? Because no one fucking knew about it.
Yeah, and we were also all locked up as well.
I
Right,
know, but it was
exactly. Like
good, and we all shared that moment.
That was epic.
you could have done a live action Smurf movie and I think we would have all watched it.
I know we were all basically little prisoners at
Trapped at
home.
home.
Trapped at home,
Right.
2020.
It was true.
But anyway, what I'm saying is we didn't what Tiger King wasn't a story from the fucking 90s. Okay. It was something relevant, it was something now, and it was something cool to watch, as sad as it was, but it was fresh. And we need more stories like that. Fucking baby
Secret
reindeer.
The Secret
Amazing
Lives of
stories.
Mormon Wives.
Yeah. Baby reindeer, also amazing story. Something relevant, something new, something off. But fucking making all these biopics of Jeffrey Dahmer again. All it's like I don't want to fucking hear this shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and if we're gonna go down the true crime rabbit hole, true
Done
rhyme.
with true
That's good.
crime.
I'm done with true crime. I've had it.
It's
Just
like
it's exploiting families and their trauma without their permission. I no, I don't. I can't jump on board with that.
and it's just there's something sinister about it. It's like you're adding to the morbidness of it. It's like just ugh, it's sad, it's tragic. I think we need healing. Let's all just pray.
Make America great again.
No,
Oh, that's
clean
funny.
heal America again. Anyway,
Yeah.
listen.
Mandatory therapy, all white men above the age of 40.
Well,
Therapy
this is a thing
now.
they're saying. We used to have more of a mental health infrastructure. Yes, it ended up being quite negative, where people would put in their sister-in-laws into insane asylums just to get rid of them. But
Hysteria.
there was actual infrastructure. Instead, now people with real mental health issues, they just run amok on the street, and it's not doing them a service, and it's not doing the society a service. So
Of course, I feel like the time you're talking about, they also locked up homosexuals.
they locked up anyone that wasn't, what
That
they thought was
was
the right.
normal,
Yeah, exactly.
considered what they considered normal. So
No, but
that
we
might
do
not
need
have
to.
been the
We
best
no,
time.
I'm not saying bringing those back, but I'm saying is we do need to normalize that mental health is part of health, and that we just someone that's and that it affects us all. It's the same reason.
True.
It's why I feel like we need to have universal health care. And why do we have universal health care? Because if someone gets sick and they go on the train, they're going to make everyone else sick. So let's get that guy and make sure that he has access to health care so that we don't get sick. It's
Well,
we're all a part of this world.
you'll be somewhat surprised to hear that going back to the original topic of politics and during the debate, the question was asked of to Donald Trump, like what was his plan for universal health care? And he said that they're working on it. He's
He has
Gee,
like
an
he's
idea of a plan.
he has an idea of a plan, but there's no actual plan. So that's why they never did anything with it.
Boo,
Um,
tomato, tomato, tomato.
right, because he tried to attack Kamala on the healthcare, and she was just like, "You were in office for 4 years and you didn't do anything.
yeah, he didn't do crap.
You didn't do anything for healthcare. You can't say anything." And he was like, "We worked on a plan," and she was like, "What happened to the plan? Where's the
That
Where's the
being
plan?"
plan?
said,
He's like, we're working
Is
on it.
Biden's
Yeah.
still president. He can still be doing more.
You know what he needs to do is forgive every single loan and
Yes.
thing that we
Start
got from
there.
COVID, because businesses are underwater, people are suffering, and you know, only the rich are getting richer. So it's we need to level things out. Um, I support small business. I'm a small business, and I think that's something that he needs to take care of before he leaves office. Is forgive all these loans that you gave out to people just to make it through the day as small businesses. Anyway, changing gears here. Let's talk about Robbie's next trips.
Ooh, me. Oh,
Yes.
well, I forget. Well, my next trip, honestly, is just going to be to Florida. And I don't know, I'm putting it out there. But if I put it out there, I actually need to make a plan of action. And I don't really feel like that right now. I've never been to Mexico, guys. Never been to
Really?
Mexico. And I really want to change that. So I'm
That was me this
thinking
year with Canada, and I ended up taking a wonderful little trip to Montreal for 2 days.
I'm not going to Montreal in November.
No,
Sorry.
don't go in
Let it.
November.
No.
Actually, but if you do like snow, it's a perfect city to go to because they have this wonderful rink. It's like a park, and I think it's one of the largest ice skating rinks. It's full of water, and it turns into an ice skating
Nice.
rink, and it's beautiful. It's just stunning.
So where in Mexico are you thinking
Yeah.
about going?
Well, okay, hear me out, guys. Hear me out, everyone. Okay, I'm a big city boy, so
Mhm.
I'm clearly thinking about Mexico City. However, Cancun is closer, and Cancun is actually does have a village there. It's like a town.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a couple of I can't. I'm only going to have a couple of days. The way that it is, because I need to see family. It's my mom's birthday. I
Why
do
are
not
you
want to
going with
travel during.
someone? Are you going
No, I will
alone?
be going all by myself. So this will be
I
my
don't know if you should go to
first.
Mexico all by yourself.
Well, I
I
think I
went to
could.
Mexico by myself.
But
Yeah,
you had friends there. Well, if you go
True.
to Mexico City, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. It's a toss up between. I only have 2 full days and a travel day and a travel day, so maybe 3 days max, depending on how you slice the cake. But yeah, I'm thinking about a little trip by
That could be
myself just to see
fun.
how I can handle it.
Well,
I
try this Mexico City because it's so full of history, right? But Cancun's just
exactly.
like a
There's a
beach. Mm.
metro. I can handle it. I think
Yeah,
I can at least.
I was gonna say I've heard good things about Mexico City. I've
The
not been
food.
there, but I've
Um,
heard good things.
have you
And
been to
most
Cancun?
I feel like I went to Cancun on a cruise, so I
Oh,
didn't hang. I mean, like the boat docked. We hung out there briefly. It was all bars that since it was near the dock, so I
mm.
didn't hang out there. I didn't go there for like a day or so. But I also know that like a lot of people that I know love Puerto Vallarta.
Oh
That
yeah,
that
it's the gay capital now.
yeah,
It's
yeah, it
popping.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people
like
go there.
constantly. Like I have a friend who I used to work with who he and his husband they when it's warm they're in their home in Chicago, but then when the Chicago winter hits, they go to Puerto Vallarta,
Because
and
they
they're
smart.
so they're I think they have a place in Puerto Vallarta as well. So it's like I'm just like that's the way to live, like avoid those Midwest winters in Puerto Vallarta. So that's I don't know if that's a possibility, but like I said, I've heard good things.
That'd be cool. So yeah, I did not put PV into my radar. Maybe I
Is
might.
this
I don't
in
know. We'll
November?
see. November, yeah.
I
Great.
guess it really
Um,
kind of depends on like where you want to go. I've also heard good things about Monterey.
uh-huh.
So
Say that again, James.
I said I've also heard good things about Monterey.
So, again, Monterrey. How do you say?
Monterey,
Monterrey.
I love
Monterey,
James's accent of Monterrey.
Oh, I
Monterey.
love it.
And when you say
Yeah.
Paris, you say Paris.
No, I just say Paris. It's been too long since I've been to Paris. But
Have
it's
you
like,
guys seen Emily in Paris?
I have not.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I saw it for like a couple episodes. I was like, okay, I'm not a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
Seems kind of cringy. I don't know. Maybe I might get into it. Who knows?
I don't even know what
It's one of
Speaking of
those
lives,
things
Mormon
that I
wives, I may
noticed
get into that.
I couldn't enjoy as you get older. There's certain things that you can't enjoy when you get older, and that's one of those things because it has to do with maybe experiences, and those kind of experiences, and the newness of things, and newness of a new society or new city. Those have already, you kind of been there, done that when you get older, so it doesn't excite you anymore. It's not something that you can get into. I
So
feel.
I will I was gonna say I will say last weekend because it was like my first weekend like fully home and what felt like ages. Sunday I was laying on the couch and I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch a movie that I've never seen before, but it's critics say that it's one of the best movies ever, but I've
Et.
never watched it. No, I saw E.T. in the drive-through when I was a kid with my family.
What's a
Oh, great.
drive-through?
Right, exactly.
Robbie doesn't know what a drive-through is
I'm
or what
Really?
kidding.
E.T. is.
It's
Yeah, I
a
was gonna
30
say.
Rock quote.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
joking.
No, so I laid on my couch last Sunday and watched Lawrence of Arabia.
What?
Oh,
So gay.
I had
So
never
lovely
gay.
seen it. I
movie.
had never seen it. It is almost 4 hours long.
Oh, yeah, it's an epic.
Yikes.
It's a long one, yeah, for sure. Like it's one of those old school movies that's got like it starts off with like a prelude where they literally play the
Mhm.
soundtrack for like the first 5 minutes in just darkness.
Where'd you watch it on? Like,
I
what,
watched it at home. I don't remember what
YouTube
app
or
I watched it on. I forgot what app I watched it on, but
Oh,
I
I always
We
went.
wonder,
only
like,
recommend legal apps, everyone.
yeah, where do you
Yes,
see these older movies?
yeah, I don't recall.
The legal manners.
Yes,
I think they're all on YouTube for paid, but anyway,
they might be,
I
yeah,
I
but
would
yeah,
love to see, Casablanca again.
like I've
I want to
never I've
go
never
to
watched it.
Casablanca.
Oh,
I would
it's
like I
beautiful.
I would like to go there. I've never been. I've never been to Africa.
We all gotta do more traveling.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'd say traveling, not tourist shit, because that's killing, everything, the
I
over-tourism.
agree. I agree.
4-star, 5-star hotels now. Let's just stay in freaking get a backpack, so I don't care if you're 60, you know, get those little
Well,
Birkenstocks out and, travel. Get on the trains, people.
Yeah, when I was in Lithuania, I was in a backpacking hostel that was also a campground for
Right.
people with their RVs,
Oh,
and
I
there are
love that.
people of all ages. You've got older people, you've got younger people, and you've got kids.
See, that's
It was
traveling.
amazing, just everyone all together. Obviously, I was in a private room, but
Right.
Yes.
people in their RVs, people in dorms. They had a lot of options. I was like, "Oh wow, this is the spirit." It was also kind of like a campground kind of
Right.
thing off the side of the main city center, and it was really inspiring. I was like, "Oh wow, I haven't been camping in ages." Well,
I
obviously,
think it's
regular
great.
camping, but
And I think it's when you get to know the real towns. This a lot of people do these, bus
resorts.
resorts, and that's really you're just hiding away from the city,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's kind of sad because there are certain places like the Bahamas. I'm not gonna lie, we went and we took a trip. It was the first time in the Bahamas, first time in the Caribbean, and from the airport to our resort, it was tragic. It was from
But
my American point of view. For them, it was normal. A lot of the homes were dilapidated. People were out on the streets. Again, in a lot of the warmer climate countries, people stay outside. It's more normal. But so what I'm saying is, why do we need to be ushered into this private resort area? Um, I think if we respect that place and we want to get to know Bahamas, we should travel. We should just backpack through it, not
well,
stay at the resort.
so some Caribbean countries, from what I understand, that is not a safe thing to do.
yeah. They don't
Um,
have the infrastructure always.
Right.
right, right. So like for some, for so like, because I
What's really
personally
gonna
have
happen
not
to you?
have
Come
have.
on, take a chance.
What's the worst that could happen
I'm
to
just
you?
kidding. I'm kidding.
Uh,
I'm like, that could be your last trip. I don't know. Um, like I just like because like Robbie was saying, they don't necessarily have the infrastructure. Like, you know, a big corporation might have built this resort and they have security and things like that around the resort, um, to make sure everything is good. But then the actual sort of island itself might not be the sort of safest place for somebody, who essentially could come across as a rich tourist.
As a target, let's be honest.
They could very well be a target. So I don't know. I personally have not really vacationed on
I agree.
any of those sort of islands. Like I said, I went there. I went to a couple on a cruise, but we didn't stay there.
Right.
You know. So,
Anyway,
but yeah,
so I just think there are going to be places that are not appropriate to do it for safety reasons, of course. But
true.
not just backpacking, but I think traveling light, leaving a smaller footprint, and not being so wasteful. It's gonna make um it's gonna make it so that you're not an intrusive visitor. Okay, because the over tourism, especially in Europe, is getting out of control and it's changing cities. It's changing the landscape of it. The cities are now turning into theme parks,
yeah.
and the tourists don't even want to go to theme parks. So they're not even, it's too many. It's too many cows on the field are going to leave it without grass. It's not sustainable. You got to move the cows around so that you don't make it so unsustainable.
Moo.
Moo.
Exactly.
So there's way too many cow tourists in the
Right.
middle of Barcelona, and it's leaving the um, residents unhappy, and it's leaving the tourists unhappy because guess what they see all day? Other tourists. They
Yeah.
don't get to
I,
see the locals because the locals have been priced out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see myself going to Barcelona anytime soon, just because I don't feel like I would be welcome.
Just go to Disney
Um,
World. It's the
Well,
same thing right
I'm
now.
going next month, so I'll give you a full report.
yes, but you've been living in Spain now for years, so I feel
Yeah.
like you'd be more welcome than I would be because as a tourist from outside of Spain, I just yeah. But
It's
normally,
just
like
so many. Just don't go in the summer. Places like Barcelona that are over touristy during the summer are perfectly fine in October, November. And it's
True.
cheaper because when you go during high season is extended now until the winter, basically. So you go November through March, you're good. Things are cheaper. You can get nice hotels for less than 100 euros.
Which I would think would be better because it's so hot during the
I
summer.
know. I don't understand why everyone needs to go. I get the summer idea. I get people are off more, but
Right.
Well,
geez,
don't go to Madrid in the winter. It's freezing cold. Maybe go to Barcelona. Maybe go to the east coast of Spain or along the coast anywhere really. But yeah, Madrid. Number one, we're full. Number two, it's freezing in the winter. So
no
Oh,
nobody really
freezing.
goes
good
here
It's
to
not.
except
know.
to
It's
the
not
Christmas
Ohio.
lights. Well, no, it's not Ohio bad, but
That's why I was like, I've been to Iceland in the winter, so Actually, I think the worst thing I've ever experienced was Chicago in the winter.
ay.
Yeah,
That's
Chicago's
Chi-
famous for that, infamous for
yeah,
that.
that's hardcore. That is that is. I feel like that should be considered the Arctic Circle. Chicago in the winter. There's nothing like it. There is no cold like it in the world. It's crazy.
All right, guys. So I feel like we have solved all the world's issues today.
Yeah, vote for me, 2029. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yay, Robbie,
Robbie.
2029.
So I think we're done, right? I mean, we've solved. We said don't do guns. Stop buying houses if you don't. Not going to live in it. Travel and stop renting cars. Okay, so we're good. This is it. This is
Wait,
the
did
end
you
of
say
the show.
stop renting cars?
Well, you know what I'm saying. It's leave a smaller carbon footprint when you travel.
And
Um,
don't huff glue.
yeah.
Ah, you guys are killing my next trip.
Poppers are okay though, so you're
Okay,
safe.
sweet. Okay, good. We're good. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
I
good.
think you're
Sweet.
going to be fine. You're a
Yeah.
trooper. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and we will talk soon. Thanks again.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.